Title: Infinite Possibilities. Written by Ari. Oh, what's this? Your immediate reaction to seeing that confident smile you've grown to love in a camera pointed at you is to roll your eyes. Is our YN actually nervous? Don't be shy now. Look over here. It'll be one for the yearbook. Or I can always just keep it for myself. I need a new wallpaper anyway. A scuff and a hand to your waist. That was how you learned to keep up with Gojo Satoru. You match his confidence with your own, and you learn that you are unstoppable. Even when it was fake, meant to reassure another than yourself, it still made you invisible. A wall almost as impenetrable as Gojo's infinity. Shut up, Satoru, and put the phone down or I will kill you. You punch his arm and you were surprised when it hits. He laughs and the sound almost lifts the weight from your chest. So what if I'm nervous? Oh, so you admit it. The cocky smile slips off his face and you were surprised when he sniffles. You reach out a hand to him, worried as he clutches his chest, seemingly from pain. Oh, I didn't think our little Mochi would grow up so quickly. Already heading off abroad now, being honest with your feelings? That's too much for one day, YN. At least let me catch a breather. You are too cute for your own good. We are the same age, you. You shake your head and walk away without another word, more of his laughter ringing behind you. The heat that reddens your cheek is all too familiar, a combination of him and his teasing, but as you turn away, the emptiness in the pit of your stomach is new, and your face flushes darker. He cuts your exit off easily enough with a quick few strides and leans over to look at your face. His smile comes into view again and the tears you've suppressed over the week spilling over. The teasing smile slips off his face and what's left is almost sweet. If you could call it that from a guy like Gojo. The tears fall faster than you can wipe them away. Oh, Mochi, are you crying for me? You really shouldn't. Gojo laughs, but he pulls you close and wipes away your tears. His touch leaves goosebumps over your skin. You really do spoil me too much. I'm going to miss you, dumbass. You choke out between strangled sobs. You miss the shocked look that passes over his face when you bury your face in your hands. There's a pause, and his warmth is gone. YN. Your eye flies up to him in surprise. He's standing up at his full height, arms on his hip, and a frown creasing his face. You talk as if we're never going to see each other again. But you swallow your words when he leans down again. He holds up a finger to silence you. He stares at you, and when he's sure that you are not going to interject, he grins. Listen up, little Mochi. Infinity is all around us. More so me than everyone else, but you get what I mean. He wags a finger at your frown and winks. And there are even more infinite possibilities in life. Maybe there was one where I wasn't a Jujutsu Sorcerer. Maybe there's one where you don't have to go abroad. Maybe one where we never meet. But he stands up again, a hand on your head, and this time, you were sure the smile on his face is sweeter than any dessert he had offered to share with you. That's all in the past. The future, however, is another thing. He grins and pulls you in for a hug. You bury your face in his chest, breathing in and committing it to memory. I'm sure there's one where we see each other again. Take it from the guy who has infinity on his side, okay? You promised him to, that you'd make sure to meet up again the moment you could. A choice in your infinite possibilities that you would never pass up given the chance. So, what were you doing here? A whole month in Japan without a word to him and already on your way back somewhere you can't reach him? As you walk through a park, you glance out, both anticipating and afraid to see a patch of familiar white hair poking up from the crowds. You see something white pass by the corner of your eye and you duck, only to realize it was just a vendor with a fly swatter. You breathe a shaky sigh of relief as you sit down on a bench. You try to think if there was a possibility you could have avoided this situation. What? You were in Japan? To say you felt guilty at Gojo's voice over the phone would be an understatement. Since when? Where are you? Kyoto. I've been handling something here for a month. No. A month? You pull the phone away from your ear as he yells. Why didn't you tell me? Sorry, I was just... No, wait. Don't tell me. That doesn't matter. You can hear fumbling around in the background. I'm coming over. Wait for me. Satoru, my flight back is tomorrow night. There's a pause on the other end. Tokyo, 10 a.m. Same place we get ice cream. The bench under the cherry blossom tree. Don't try to get out of this, or I'm going to drag your ass off that plane. You promised. Ah, there's the magic words. When you put down the phone, you turn to Principal Yaga helplessly, since he was the one who pushed you to call Gojo after finding out you were here. But all he gives you is a shrug. Wouldn't have been a problem if you told him in the first place, he says gruffly before he picks up a ball of yarn from a basket. He's been bugging me to send you back home since last year. Coming home shouldn't be this scary. Little Mochi, despite your thundering heart, your eyes perk up at the familiar voice. Hearing it without the familiar static that came with the phone, without the barrier that reminded you how apart you were. It felt like breathing again for the first time in ages. Sato, his name doesn't make it out of your mouth before you're lifted into the air and in his arms. Your face is inches from his own, and for a second, you're out of breath all over again, for the exact opposite reason. The blindfold is new, but somehow it suits him still. The good-looking asshole. You never thought you'd see his hair stuck up like that, and you almost can't resist running your hands through them. His grin is contagious, and before you know it, you are laughing with him. And you almost said it all. I missed you. I wanted to come back the moment I realized you weren't in the same school. It was sad. I couldn't hear your laugh every time I woke up. I love you. But then he lets you down, and your thoughts are grounded. Little Mochi, did you actually get taller? He grins and puts a hand at the top of your head. I can't really tell since you're still smaller than me. I'd say it's not my fault you're a walking tree, Satoru, but that would be offensive for the trees. What about you? What's all this for? You reach up and pull him down by his shoulder before tapping on his blindfold. I always said you were blind to your own cockiness, but you didn't have to take it so literally. Oh, this. He tugs off the blindfold and his mess of hair flops down. Your breath gets caught in your throat, just like when you met him the first time. Well, I thought you'd appreciate not having to get lost in my eyes for once, but if you insist. Almost like he's trying to rub it in, he leans down until you were eye level, and your heart thumps pathetically in your chest. I don't mind taking it off for you, little Mochi. He grins at you, eyes glittering, and you snap your mouth closed, suddenly very aware you were gaping at him. You can put the blindfold back on. You force yourself to look away and lift the blindfold that hung loosely from his neck up to his eyes. He laughs, and you feel like you were 18 again. I just realized it was easier to put up with that jackass face of yours if I couldn't see half of it. You sit back down and stare pointedly at the ground as Gojo fits his blindfold back on, sitting beside you with legs outstretched. There's a pause, where no one says anything and all you can hear is your thundering pulse. Just say it. Were you actually planning on leaving without at least saying goodbye? Your head picks up when you hear him. There's a certain tone to his voice that you can't pin down. Accusing? Not exactly, but it wasn't far off. Because I didn't want to say goodbye. Not again. What I want to say is, you fiddle with your fingers, voice small. Satoru, I haven't introduced you to my students yet, he says in a playful tone to his voice is back. They couldn't come with me since they're in the middle of a mission. Extracurricular and all that. Students? Yeah, I told you, didn't I? I was going to be a teacher. His smile is far away and suddenly, he felt so unreachable too. Remember, for my goal? Little Mochi, I've decided I'm going to be a teacher. You hear his voice over the phone, but you can almost see the look on his face when he says it. The look he gets where his confidence wasn't misplaced. The one that made you believe he really was the strongest for that look alone. If those higher-ups don't get their shit together and lead the Jujutsu Sorcerers properly, then I'll do it. You just watch me, Mochi. Right. For his goal. His goal, his goal, his goal. What the hell have you been doing? Gojo has always been able to see more than anyone else. And that included the future. Always looking ahead. Always looking at the bigger picture. Always, always, always so amazing. What was I thinking? He let out a small laugh. I'd just hold him back. Of course I remember you saying that, dummy. I just didn't think you'd be able to pull off being a teacher. You smile, And you're thankful it doesn't come off as forced as it felt on your face. Make sure they're alive the next time I visit, okay? Not my fault you didn't tell me you were here sooner. He pouts at you and you laugh. You're just a different kind of light. By the way, what were you trying to say earlier? I didn't tell you I was here till the last minute because the words are at the tip of your tongue. The sweeter they tasted, the surer you were they were poison. I knew I wouldn't get any work done while you were around. He lets out a dramatic gasp, a hand clutching his chest. Excuse me? I am a responsible adult. You scoff. Since when? Since now. Come on then. He stands up, taking your hand into his own and your luggage in another. I'd say lunch, but instead, we'll just hit every new bakery in Tokyo since you left. I know you love it, Mochi. Right. I love it. You stare at his hand holding yours, committing it to memory, before you look forward to where he was dragging you off to. You tell yourself this was the right choice from all those infinite possibilities. One where you keep things as they are. One where you were a friend to him and his goals. No going back or moving forward. It will have to be enough for you, for him, because that was the infinity you were meant to have.